Good evening, everybody. It's August 14, 2023. This is just a quick video, quick article update on Tulsi Gabbard. So this is dated August 14, 2024 by Matt Taibbi. He is a journalist, and this is a Substack article entitled Intimidation and Waste. Surveillance of Tulsi Gabbard triggered by unspecified quote-unquote affiliation. This kind of sounds like what happens with you and I, right? You get your watch listed for just pissing off your neighbor's dog. You just piss off anybody. Piss off a narcissist. Piss off your boss. Just break up with somebody, and then suddenly you're on some kind of a watch list to be tormented for the rest of your life. So, when a former presidential candidate and Iraq war veteran was put under quote-unquote quiet sky surveillance, U.S. air marshals blew the whistle on an out-of-control program. When U.S. air marshals were assigned weeks ago to follow former Hawaii Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard under the Transportation Security Administration's Quiet Skies program, they were given a sheet with a mysterious notation. A section marked, quote-unquote, derogatory, contained 2 6-number codes followed by entries reading, quote, WLS affiliates rule inbound and TSDB affiliate rule inbound, unquote. The entries were uncommon, and at least one marshal had to call an internal mission operations hotline to learn Gabbard was accused of being an quote-unquote an affiliate of someone on a terrorist watch list. WLS stands for Watch List Service, while TSDB denotes the Terrorist Screening Database. And Gabbard's readout also featured her congressional portrait, not a government-issued ID like a passport or driver's license, a departure from procedure that didn't pass the smell test for some marshals. These are just some of the details in a letter sent last night to 8 House and Senate committees on behalf of several whistleblowing U.S. Marshals, congressional aides told Racket. The letter also said that Gabbard remained under, quote, special mission coverage, unquote, surveillance for 8 flights, longer than usual absent indications of suspicious behavior. There'd normally have to be an after-action report describing something troubling to extend the surveillance, said one former marshal, adding that this would likely be, quote, a bridge too far, unquote, for some in the service. This is outrageous, and my lawyers are taking appropriate action, Gabbard said in reaction to the news. That's the end of the article. However, I'll add that, fortunately, because of her high-ranking political affiliations, etc., she's married. I'm sure she has earned a significant amount of money in her lifetime, and she's able to hire attorneys, which most targeted people are not. So the fact that this is being aired publicly as being an atrocity, as being outrageous, as being absurd, is actually good news for every other targeted person. However, we're not high-profile people. You know, we're just regular people. We're not in the public eye the way she is. And there are a lot of people out there that I'm sure like this woman. And just as I said that, somebody just beeped their horn. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that like this woman, and that's why she had some whistleblowers come forward in her defense. They weren't going to keep quiet about this unspecified affiliation. Probably what it was is somebody that wanted to give her a hard time, somebody that was jealous of her. I mean, look at her. She's very pretty. She's married. She's intelligent. A lot of people like her, and obviously all of these whistleblowers that came forward on her behalf, they like her. Otherwise, they weren't going to put their jobs on the line to stand up about this. So it just says that these are just some of the details in a letter sent last night to 8 House and Senate committees on behalf of several whistleblowing U.S. Marshals. Now, could you imagine? Okay, these are just several whistleblowing U.S. Marshals. What about all the ones that follow her around? Could you imagine how much they're being paid with your tax dollars? Imagine what their salaries are. And if they have to follow her, if so, at least one of them has to board a flight with her, let's say, and it's several hours long, and then they touch down, and there's some more marshals there. Could you imagine the amount of money being doled out just to have U.S. Marshals watch an innocent woman board a plane, fly in the air, and come home? It's absolutely wasteful. It's despicable. This surveillance program is off the charts. And I am so glad that there are investigative journalists like Matt Taibbi, who wrote this article, who's following up on this intimidation and waste surveillance in Tulsi Gabbard, triggered by unspecified affiliation. Oh, so suddenly it's who you're affiliated with. Okay, so, well, guess what, guys? I'm in my 60s. Could you imagine how many people I have, quote unquote, affiliated with in my lifetime? How many people I have met, right? How many people I've interviewed? Because, I did have my own business staffing people. I interviewed thousands and thousands of people over the phone, most of which were not even U.S. citizens. Imagine how many erroneous people I could be affiliated with just because I interviewed people for a living. And what about you? Right? You could have been in a job where you were traveling for a living. And then you were shaking hands with people in different companies and meeting people at board meetings, B-O-R-E-D, board meetings and stuff like that. Imagine how many people you have met and affiliated with in your lifetime. Let's say you worked at a job and you affiliated with your coworkers. And maybe some of your coworkers were affiliated with marital partners or ex-boyfriends and girlfriends. And maybe they were affiliated with family members. And maybe those family members were affiliated with somebody else. You know about the 6 degrees of separation. Everybody is connected at some point. But just because you're affiliated with somebody, that gives you cause to be on a list and have U.S. Air Marshals follow you around in the sky and on the ground. Absolutely despicable, wasteful. I mean, I'm a targeted person. This bullshit has got to stop. It has to end somewhere. And I am so glad that people are speaking out. High-profile people are speaking out about this atrocity. Fortunately, she's able to hire an attorney. She says, this is outrageous, and my lawyers, not one, my lawyers are taking appropriate action. Well, good for you. I can't wait to hear the result of your lawyer's action. Actually, I hope the lawsuits are posted online so we can mirror some of the wording of those lawsuits. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this update. I'm sure there are going to be more. And once again, the article is entitled Intimidation and Waste, Surveillance of Tulsi Gabbard Triggered by Unspecified Affiliation. So even the affiliations are not specified. But we can't confirm or deny in the name of national security. This is Lorraine signing off for now.